Sarvebhyo Namah. During the past year, that is 2022, I have received some very important publications related to Indian aesthetics, literary theory or Alankar Shastra, and they are assets to my library. I have received the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh parts of Sahitya Shastra Samucchay, a very prestigious series launched by Acharya, Pandit Rewa Prasad Dwivedi, who was a doyen amongst the traditional Pandits and one of the greatest poets, definitely, of 20th century. He has been not only an original thinker and Acharya, rising up to the levels of Bhamaha Dandi, Vamana, Mammata, and even Abhinav Gupta. He is also a very sensitive and brilliant poet, but as an editor of Sanskrit text also, he has immensely contributed to enrich our knowledge systems. This Sahitya Shastra Samuccaya series was launched by him as publications from Kalidas Samsthan, an institute founded by Pandit Rewa Prasad Dwivedi himself. The earlier volumes, the earlier parts, 1 to 4th, comprise some very important text, but the recent publications in the parts 5th, 6th, and 7th have established landmarks in the publication history, especially in the field of Alankar Shastra. The second volume, the fifth part has several volumes. So the second volume comprises Alankar Sarvasva with 3 commentaries. The commentaries by Jairath, Srividya Chakravarti, and Samudrabandha, great commentators. These commentators themselves are great acharyas. Alankar Sarvasva is one of the most important text on Alankar Shastra. And there are editions, several other editions are also there. And all the 3 commentaries together in one volume, this is something valuable, which Pandit Rewa Prasad Dwivedi has done for us. The first edition of Alankar Sarvasva came out as early as 1893 from Kashi, and Pandit Rameshwar Pathak had edited it. And contributions of late Professor R.C. Dwivedi are also to be remembered here. In 1965, he had published his edition of Alankar Sarvasva with Sanjeevani commentary of Sri Vidya Chakravartin. And he was one of the pioneer scholars who worked on Alankar Sarvasva. His own thesis was on Alankar Sarvasva. After that, the edition of Alankar Sarvasva with the same commentary, Sanjeevani of Sri Vidya Chakravartin, came out, and Dr. V. Raghavan and S.S. Janki, they have edited it. It also came out in 1965. Pandit Rewa Prasad Dwivedi also edited Alankar Sarvasva with Jayaratha's commentary, Jayaratha's Vimarshini Tika. And his edition came out in 1971 from Chokhamba. Then these 2 commentaries, of course, came out recently in 20th century. In the last decades of 20th century also, we see these commentaries by Jairath and Sri Vidya Chakravartin, But the commentary by Samudrabandha, one of the most important commentaries on any text of Alankar Shastra, and a great commentator who is cited in the tradition repeatedly. Even modern acharyas of Alankar Shastra like Nandudulare Bajpayee, they cite Samudrabandha. They cite and they remember him for his novel interpretation of the whole tradition of Alankar Shastra. So his commentary, published long back, almost 100 years ago in Trivandrum Samskrit series, was not available so far as I know. And this Samudrabandha's commentary also has been included in this volume. So this volume, second volume of the fifth part of Sahitya Shastra Samuchaya, is a welcome addition to the corpus of publications under Alankar Shastra. Volume of fifth part of Sahitya Shastra Samuchaya also includes Sardha Leela, a small but very important text by Ruyyaka on aesthetics. It describes the aesthetics of life, the aesthetic qualities of men and women. And it's a unique text by Ruyyaka. What constitutes a good personality of a person? This is what he discusses. And several ornaments, external and internal, he discusses that way. So the text of Sarada Leela, also published earlier in Kavemala under Kavemala series, was not available for so many decades, was not easily available, we can say. And credit goes to Acharya, revered Pandit Rewa Prasad Dwivedi, for making this small but very important text available to academic world. The third volume of the fifth part of Sahitya Shastra Samuchaya includes Alankar Ratnakar by Shobhakar Mitra. Shobhakar Mitra of 13th century is one of the very important authors on Alankar Shastra. Though a Dvanivadin, his analysis, definitions, and elaboration of Alankaras has been regarded as sine qua non in the tradition. And he is cited by so many great acharyas in the tradition. Even Jayaratha, the commentator of Alankar Sarvasva and Tantra Loka, he also cites him, though anonymously. And Acharya Pandit Rewa Prasad Dwivedi ji rightly decries him, condemns him, that he cites Shobhakar Mitra and doesn't name him, such a great Acharya. So this is the generosity of Pandit Rewa Prasad Dwivedi, that he himself is an Alankar Vadin, an avowed Alankar Vadin, and he so many times he has criticized Anandvardhan and Abhinav Gupta, but he has published this very important text, a very good edition, thoroughly revised and edited properly, of Alankar Ratnakar by Shobhakar Mitra. Then the first edition of this text, that is Alankar Ratnakar, was published by Pune Oriental Agency many years ago, in 1942, and 76, more than 80 years have passed after its publication. And this text also was not easily available, and in a very good, neatly printed volume, we get Shobhakar Mitra also under this series Sahitya Shastra Samuchaya of Kalidas Samsthan of Varanasi. I have this sixth volume also of Sahitya Shastra Samuchaya, and perhaps Time moves in a cyclic order with Kalidas Sansthan and with Pandit Rewa Prasad Dwivedi ji, because some of the parts of fifth volume of Sahitya Shastra Samuchay, they are coming in later years. In 2020, one of the volume has come out, and this sixth volume named after that or numbered after that in the series, it comes out in 2020, sorry, in 2016, whereas some of the volumes of the fifth part, earlier part, one of the volumes has come in 2020. So this volume under the sixth part comprises Chandraloka, Sahitya Darpana, and Mandar Marand Champu. And Chandraloka and Sahitya Darpana, of course, they are otherwise available with commentaries and with translations in Indian languages. But this Mandar Marand Champu, published earlier in Kavimala series, Mandar Marand Champu by Sri Krishna Chandra, it is also a very important text, though a later text. And Rewa Prasad Dwivedi ji has published it with a Sanskrit commentary. And these three texts also form a very important corpus of Alankar Shastra. Seventh volume, that also has been released, and it comprises Ahamagama, as per the theory of Pandit Rewa Prasad Dwivedi, that there is a Ahamagama in the Alankar Shastra. As per his citation of Agni Purana, he has given this theory: Sanatana Malam Vibhum, Aksharam Paramam Brahma, Sanatana Malam Vibhum. As per this reading in Agni Purana, he defines the Alankara, the essence of Alankara, as Alam Brahman. And the Purana literature which treats Alankar Shastra, so many Puranas treating Alankar Shastra, beginning from Vishnu Dharmottar Purana, which is one of the most voluminous texts on literary theory, Alankar Shastra, Natya Shastra, dramaturgy, dance, chitra, painting, and murti sculpture. It's a great text on Indian art and aesthetics. So the part of that Vishnu Dharmottar Purana, third khand of Vishnu Dharmottar Purana dealing with Alankar Shastra, has been included in this seventh volume. So far as I have received these 7 volumes, 7 parts, and each part also having different volumes published in different years. Such a great, ambitious plan of bringing out rare works of Alankar Shastra, which has been launched almost by a one-man army, that was Pandit Rewa Prasad Dwivedi. My pranamas and salutations to his memory. Credit also goes to Professor Sadashiv Kumar Dwivedi for bringing out these publications in a very neat way. Sadashiv Kumar Dwivedi has stood with his illustrious father in preparing the critical editions of all these texts as co-editor of the series, and after the said demise of Pandit Rewa Prasad Dwivedi, he is continuing the great projects which Acharya Rewa Prasad Dwivedi had undertaken. I have also received during the year which has just passed 2022, several very important texts in English, of course, related to literary theory in Sanskrit or aesthetics, Indian aesthetics. And one of the works which I want to bring out to the notice of this learned audience, which must be listening to me, is by M.S. Kushwaha. In collaboration with Sanjay Kumar Mishra. The work has been released recently in 2022 published by DK Print World. And Professor M.S. Kushwaha is one of the veterans. He is one of the senior most professors of English in the country. And having learned Sanskrit and Sanskrit Shastras through tradition, he has contributed both to the study of Alankara Shastra, literary theory in Sanskrit, and also to the study of English literature. The book, it is said in the introduction to this volume, aspires to do for Indian poetics what Hudson's book, an introduction to the study of Indian literature, did for English literature. Basically, it is written for the readership which has not studied Sanskrit in a traditional way through Guru Parampara, and the students and teachers of English and other languages who want to learn the basics of Alankara Shastra in Sanskrit. For them, it is a good volume. It's a handy and a volume which caters to a long-felt need, because after P.V. Kane and S.K. Day, their works, 101 years have passed after the publication of the first editions by P.V. Kane and S.K. Day of their History of Indian Poetics. No such work on the lines they adopted or on a reformulated line has been published. And this work by M.S. Kushwaha explains all the theories of Sanskrit poetics on the basis of original text through Acharya Parampara, and it makes an easy reading for a readership which is not familiar directly with the tradition. Professor M.S. Kushwaha was born in 1938. He lives at Lucknow. He is MA and PhD in English. He is Acharya in Sanskrit, and he has served at the University of Lucknow as Professor of English for about 4 decades. And he has written a voluminous commentary on Laghu Siddhant Kaumudi. In our school days, we used to consult the Hindi commentary by Professor M.S. Kushwaha on Laghu Siddhant Kaumudi. Such a veteran and a person who has served to the cause of Sanskrit Vyakarana, an English professor, of course, and presently he is a senior most person amongst the professors of English. And he has also authored a work on Indian poetics and Western thought, and new perspectives on Indian poetics. So he has devoted decades of his life, his career as a professor of English, to the study of Indian poetics, and with his first-hand knowledge of Sanskrit Shastras, he has been writing on these lines, on this in this discipline, and one of the other works by him is Dramatic Theory and Practice, Indian and Western, and assisted by Sanjay Kumar Mishra, who is also a PhD and who has been working as associate professor in the English department of Raja Balwant Singh College, Agra. He is also interested in literary theory in Sanskrit as well as in Indian writings in English, and he has contributed to this book as a co-author. So it's a welcome addition to my library, and thanks to Professor M.S. Kushwaha. Some of the other works which I have received during last year and before that, they also are worth mentioning. And Literary Criticism in India, Text, Trends and Trajectories, edited by E.V. Ramakrishnan, comprises the proceedings of a seminar on Indian literary criticism organized some years back by Sahitya Academy. The volume has been very well edited, and some very important papers are included in this volume. Of course, my own paper is also here. I was, after an introduction by E.V. Ramakrishnan, titled Indian Literary Criticism Today, a Hybridized House with question mark. There is a very important paper by Azaz Ahmad, who is a well-known postmodern thinker on literary theory. The paper is titled Perspectives on Indian Literary Criticism. Then K. Sachidanand, who is a well-known Malayalam poet and who was secretary of Sahitya Academy for many years and a professor of English. His paper is there, The Politics of Rereading the Indian Context. Then Vijay Kumar writes on literary criticism in the time of theory. P.P. Ravindran, his paper is there on modernity and immanence, the context of Kesari Balkrishna Pillai. Then papers by Sachidanand Mohanty on cosmopolitan modernity by Anamika, who is a well-known poet of Hindi and a professor of English. And she also writes on female discourse in Indian literature, and a known personality in the literary fields. She has written a paper on committed players in Leela Bhav, literary criticism in Hindi. Then C.N. Ramchandran has contributed a paper titled In Search of Identity, Literary Criticism in Kannada Today. Sachin K. Kelkar's paper is there on lovebirds pecking at pindas, theorizing globalization, and the post-90s Marathi poetry. Then papers by other authors, and papers on creative writing in English, and between local and global, predicaments of latest Punjabi criticism. Then interrogating hegemony, language and representation in Marathi Dalit writing, and my paper on new horizons in Sanskrit literary theory, discussing some of the modern acharyas who have contributed to Sanskrit poetics in a substantial way, acharyas like Rewa Prasad Dwivedi and so many others. Then C. Rajendran is a well-known author and a scholar of Sanskrit poetics. His paper is there, Retrieving Tradition, Challenges and approaches in contemporary Malayalam poetics. Then some other papers are on Tamil theory, Tamil literary criticism, on Tamil writings, and on Foucault, Sedgwick, Goldie, etc. So this also is a good reference work on literary theory and aesthetic traditions. Another very important book which has been sent to me, as I am one of the contributors in this book also, is titled Indian Aesthetics, Convergences and Divergences by Priyadarshi Patnaik. It has been edited, jointly edited by Priyadarshi Patnaik and Joy Sen. It also forms the proceedings of a seminar organized some years back in IIT Kharagpur. Papers discussing Sanskrit poetics and current trends in aesthetics are included in this. Lastly, a very important publication comes under the editorship of Advaitvadini Kol, and it is titled Indian Aesthetic Theories and Art Forms. It has a prologue by Kapila Vatsyayan, very erudite and thought-provoking prologue, as we expect from Madam Kapila Vatsyayan. And it includes, it's a voluminous work, the seminar on proceedings of a seminar on Asian aesthetics and art forms, organized some years back by Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts, and some other papers have also been included in the volume. The volume has been meticulously edited with an elaborate prologue by Dr. Kapila Vatsyayan, followed by a thought-provoking keynote address by Dr. Kamlesh Datt Tripathi. After his keynote address, which is titled Historiography of Studies in Asian Aesthetics, my paper in section 1 has been included, and it is titled Of Convergences, Divergences and Confluences, the Holistic Perspective of Rasa Theory in the First Millennium CE. Then Dr. Kamlesh Datt Tripathi's paper is also there, Abhinav Gupta and Indian Aesthetics. Maruti Nandan Tiwari writes on aestheticism and Shantarasa, the core of spirit of Jaina art. Suniti Kumar Pathak's paper is there on aesthetic aspects of Buddhist visual arts in Bharatvarsha and abroad. Then Urmila Sharma has contributed her paper titled Expression of Aesthetic Experience in Vaishnava Tradition, with a special reference to Sri Chaitanya Mata. R.N. Mishra is a well-known scholar of Indian aesthetics and art tradition. He has contributed a paper titled Aesthetics of Anthropomorphism Marks, that is Lakshanas of Beauty in Indian Tradition. Dr. Advaitvadini Kaul herself has contributed a paper titled Attaining Bliss Through the Convergence of Art and Thought. Then other papers related to geography and iconography, Thai Ramayana and Veshantar Jataka, Champa, ancient temples, Javanization of goddess Durga, and musical exchanges, music laws and music shifts, flat gongs in archaeological records in India and Southeast Asia. All these papers related to various aspects of aesthetics, Asian aesthetics, form an important reading in this volume. And out of the 3 sections, the third section, C, consists papers related to representation of Asian art in Asian museums, and four very important papers by Janet T. Siu Mui, Carol Kynes, and S.C. Malik, and Kanson Kwok. They are included over here. On the whole, this volume is a very important publication in the field of Indian aesthetics and art tradition. It has been published jointly by Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts and DK Print World. The earlier work which I have referred, I have discussed, edited by Priyadarshi Patnaik and Joy Sen, entitled Indian Aesthetics, has also been published by DK Print World. Thank you very much.